Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon for our virtual opening reception for the Tomales High School Artist Showcase. I'm Shelley Rugg, the gallery coordinator at Gallery Route 1. For our presentation today, we ask that you please stay muted until we ask you to unmute. For best viewing, select speaker view from the top right corner of the Zoom viewing screen, although you can switch back to gallery anytime you feel like it. And we want you to know that we are recording today's presentation for future viewing on our website and YouTube channel. There's a couple more people waiting, so we'll let them in. And now I'd like to introduce the president of the board of Gallery Route 1, Tony Littlejohn.
Thank you, Shelley. It's a real honor to be here, and I'm very excited about this show, the Tomales High School Artist Showcase 2021. We had a funny little quirk in our calendar, and so it was like, let's show what's happening up at Tomales High School. And particularly during this pandemic, when there have been so many challenges, to see what artists are doing. I have a big belief that if everyone had a creative practice and really had a creative practice, our world would be in a very different shape. So we have here today these young artists, and some of them I've known from way back when they were in the Artists in the Schools, the after school art program, as well as the Artists in the Schools program at West Marin and Inverness School. To see how they have matured, to see how their art is growing is very exciting to me. And it'll be very interesting to see how these works mature, how these artists mature over the course of their lifetime. So I am now going to introduce you to their instructor, Ginny Gahan, who is a marvelous enthusiast of art.
Thank you, Tony. Hi, everyone. My name is Ginny Gagan, and it is my privilege to be the art teacher at Tomales High School. And just to say a little bit about the show, as everyone knows, it has been a very unusual year. It's been hard on our community in so many ways. And it's really been an opportunity for students to process how they're feeling through their art, to just live every day, like trying to find that creative outlet. That's really been my goal as an instructor this year. And I think you'll see that the work that has come out is just simply phenomenal. Art class this year has meant giving the materials, the space, the time, and just really the inclination for students to be doing that kind of mental and emotional work of creating art. We've used linoleum block printing, we've done cyanotype with the help of the Artists in Schools program, also through Gallery Route 1, that has been phenomenal. We've done portraiture, observational drawing, and also works, experimental and expressionist pieces that have really just helped us kind of find our flow and our center this year. The photography classes, as usual, have explored both traditional and digital photography and learned how to use Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom. And we are just so grateful for this opportunity to bring the work out of, we're still seeing it on a screen. I hope some of you will come and see it in person, but just to bring it out into the light after a year when we've all been laboring so individually in our own places. So we're very, very grateful to Gallery Route 1 for the opportunity. Very excited for you to see the work. And I am going to introduce my fantastic student, Andrea Perez-Tostado, who is also the student board member representing Tomales High School here at the gallery. So Andrea, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce this piece, and then I'll turn it over to you in just a moment. So this is the first piece. This is by the artist Slew, and it's called Remain Neutral.
This is by the artist Perla Munoz, and the title is Planet Pink. And here are some statements from the artist. In the time prior to making this artwork, a friend and I decided to try doing a trend that was viral at the time, where you paint on the back pockets of a pair of jeans. I painted a sunset with clouds, sunflowers, and bees inspired by Charlie the Creator's album cover for the flower board. I realized how much I enjoyed painting and bought some canvases and paint. I decided I wanted to paint something different, but also related to that first piece. I also decided to make a pink ombre with matching beads. In the process of creating this piece, I learned that painting brought me peace and was an enjoyable hobby away from many screens. I also learned what some of my favorite techniques were and that painting clouds and skies was something I wanted to continue doing.
Nice, thank you.
The next piece is by Constance Gonzalez. It's called School My Mind.
The next piece is from someone anonymous and it is untitled.
So I'm going to say a few words about this piece. This is by the artist Callie Plummer. And Callie has been doing this kind of spiral work with the colored pencil and the gradient of color for quite some time. When I asked her to submit a piece for the show, she asked if she could submit something that she had done on her own. And I just love the vibrance of it. I love how it really is something that she is doing to process and you can really see how it grows kind of organically. It's really just gorgeous, and I'm really excited to see this body of work coming from Callie.
The next piece is by Sophia Mcdaniels and it is untitled.
And we have a video.
All right, will you say your name for everybody?
Hi, my name is Sophia Martinez, and I drew this painting. And what I like about my painting was that I use a lot of pastels. I use a lot of pastels for a lot of my paintings I do, and I like how I substituted the pastel colors and the bright colors for like the mountains and the sky. And I like how I did a lot of texture and like effects on the water and the mountains and the sky.
What kind of art have you been doing this year?
I've been doing a lot of I forgot what it's called.
A lot of painting?
A lot of paintings, like canvas painting. And I've just been practicing my painting, and I do it for fun.
Yeah. It's been kind of a hard year. Is there anything you want to say about how art has helped you this year?
I get a lot of inspiration from like artists and to do my paintings.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing with us, Sophie.
Yeah.
All right, the next piece is by Jasmine Castillo, and it is Untitled.
The next piece is by Zach Cornelius and it is called Morning Sunrise.
This piece is by Francisco Gonzalez, and it's called The Best Drawing. Hard to argue with that.
Capital letter.
Yes. So I'll be speaking a little bit about this next piece. This is an original digital photograph by Citlali Gonzalez. Citlali is a junior, and this is her first year in photography. And she just really has such a natural eye. When she submitted this photograph, she said about it that she really loves taking photos of her friends, and that is just really a good outlet for her. And I can say as her teacher that she really has a knack for portraiture and just putting people in a position where it's just an inherently interesting composition. This is one of her friends who's also in one of my classes. And we've just been home so much. It's actually been an opportunity for a lot of contemplation and documentation of our everyday surroundings. You know, in some ways that has been hard, but in other ways I've really seen it positively impact student photography. So I think that this is a really strong showing from Citlali. I'm going to turn it over to Andrea, who's going to talk about her own piece next.
So this is my piece, and I named it Sophia. I decided to make a portrait of her, especially because she's been an inspiring person she really seems like a positive person. She seemed like a positive person, and even though her life was sadly cut short, she really inspired many people. And yeah.
Thank you.
The next piece is a photograph by the artist Maria Belen Martinez, and it's called Grayness and the Bright Colors.
This next piece is by Evelyn Rodriguez, and it is Untitled.
This piece is by Alejandra, aka Nana Gutierrez, and it's called A Whole New World.
Can you read the cartoon bubbles to us?
Sure. At the top it says A Whole New World, and then this fish is saying, our home looks a little different now. This fish is saying, it's a whole new world.
Thank you.
This piece is by Edgar Ornelas, and it is Untitled. This piece is by Natalia Gutierrez, and it is Untitled. And here are some few statements from the artist. I photograph many different objects that are in my life, but mainly animals and flowers that I pass by on a daily basis. I make pictures that I think nature lovers will like. Being outside is something that helps calm me. When taking this photo, I was at my uncle's ranch, which has different kinds of animals. This specific horse has been by my side all my life, and I wanted to include it in my photography. I use an iPhone 8 Plus for all my photos, but in this particular photo, I use a portrait mode to get that blurry background. My goal in photography is to show viewers the beauty that nature has to offer. Seeing the beauty of nature is really important to me, and I'd love to share that with everyone. My interest in the subject comes from my love of Mother Nature. I photograph nature because I want to go beyond the obvious shots and show more depth of details in my perspective.
This piece is by William Taylor, and it's called Yellow Flower.
This piece is by Jasmine Fox, and it's called Landscape Flowers.
This piece is by Dominic Harris Morrissey, and it's called Nothing Covers Brightness. So I'll be speaking about this one. This is by Patricia Vanderen. It's Untitled, the digital photograph. And what I love about this one is how abstract it is. A lot of the photography we do tends to skew a little bit more representational in my class. But Patricia just really has this great eye, and I love how in her statement she talks about how she realized she had never taken a photo looking straight up before. And I think that's what makes a really incredible photographer, is the ability to recognize a beautiful composition from a perspective that they've never considered. And I mentioned earlier, we've been stuck inside so much. So to realize that there's this like rich and beautiful and interesting composition, like literally just right where you spend so much time, I think has been one of the sort of silver linings of this year, is like finding beauty. I see that in a lot of the pieces in this show, just finding beauty in the everyday. And I just love this piece so much. I love the repetition of the line and the really extreme contrast that it has. She says in her statement, I know I shouldn't only look at the sky when there's a pretty sunset. A plain blue sky is pretty as well. So something about just like not missing those little moments of beauty and appreciating them in the everyday. You know, it doesn't have to be kind of like right so obvious. I just really love this piece.
This piece is by Eduardo Sanchez, and it's called Beauty.
This piece is by Noel Gutierrez and it is Untitled.
This piece is by Jasmine Castillo and it is Untitled.
And this photo is by Claudia Orozco Perez. It's called In Love.
And I have a video to play for that.
My name is Claudia Orozco Perez, and this is my picture that is in the gallery. The big idea behind my artwork is to let the person who is looking at it feel what I feel when I captured the moments in the picture. I wanted to share this idea because when I took this picture, it reminded me of the love people can have for each other without them actually knowing or thinking about what they're doing. I also wanted to share that I can also make you want to have the feeling that they're having in this moment. One of the most successful parts of my artwork is shallow depth of field because the main focus is his hand, but if you go inside it, you can see them in the background. It's one of the most successful parts because you can see both of the things, but your eye brings you toward his hand first, and then your eye goes to them in the background. And this shot was a pretty hard shot because he's taller than me, so I had to be on my tippy toes, and it was hard, so I had to take several shots in that position, so it was a bit hard. And it also was a little hard because it was windy, and then the back, it was like the sun was setting, so we didn't have that good lighting, so it was hard in that way too. Overall, I really like how my picture came out, and I really enjoyed working with my sister and her boyfriend.
Oh, nice.
This next piece is by Benjamin Lupton and it is called Elephant Mountain Sunrise.
Excuse me.
There's a video for this one too, so give me a moment to pull it up.
All right, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Ben Leftig.
And what do you want to share with us about your photo?
I really want to share what was happening in the moment. Like, I like this photo specifically because it happened on a sunrise right in the early morning. I generally enjoy hiking up Elephant Mountain in the morning with my family, and it just happened that just had this really nice fog, and the sun was rising. It's a nice, perfect moment.
Awesome. What do you like about photography in general?
One thing I like is that it really lets you just capture where you are and just create a little time capsule. And it also lets you kind of show what you're interested in. Like, the majority of my photos are usually landscape or just around the house or yard. And I just think that's, very nice about it.
Awesome. Anything else you want to share about your experience with school this year, or like what it's been like to be taking a photography class this year?
I mean, honestly, it was probably one of the better things to happen because we were able to spend so much time, like, away. Not that school's really bad, but away from school and go to a lot of places where we probably couldn't and shouldn't have been. And just gave you a lot of other places to be and explore and take photos of.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. All right, this next photo is by Alberto Orozco and it is Untitled.
This next art piece is by Dulce Salgado Martinez and it is Untitled.
This piece is by Kat Petty. It's called Revving at Full Throttle.
This piece is by Fatima Velázquez Huerta and it's called Love Compression Problems.
This next piece is by Monica Gonzalez Romo. It's called The Many Faces of Death, and I'll be speaking about it for a moment. So this is a comic, in a comic style. You can see that it has multiple panels. And Monica's been working on an epic multi-page comic all year as part of her AP Studio portfolio. And I feel like she really had a breakthrough with this piece with her choice of the really restricted palette and the way the perspective of the viewer changes and kind of like zooms in, the repetition of the faces and the ovals throughout. It's just really, really stunning. I've seen it so many times, and every time I see it, I kind of notice something different. She was also inspired by Japanese no masks, theatrical masks. And I really think that, you know, delving into the inspiration of objects created by other cultures is a really great way to, you know, create a new vein in our own work. And I really think that's been the case for Monica with this piece. And I'm really excited to see her completed comic, which is coming together right now as the students finish their AP portfolios. Yeah, so we've all worked very hard this year.
This piece is by Wilson Fuller and it is called Idea of Identity.
This piece is by Andre Leva and it is Untitled.
This piece is by Jasmine Castillo and it is Untitled. Here are some words from the artist. I chose my subject because I have a passion for manga and anime art style. I did not have a title for my artwork. For my materials, I used Pro Art pencils and where I went over with pens. I used art pens called Micron, Pro Art, Prismacolor, and Stila. I developed this piece from a memory of the manga. I don't call myself an artist, but what captures my attention is when I see new art techniques or if I see someone else have a different way of expressing art. Some issues I've dealt with are when I make art with pieces is when it doesn't come out like how I wanted it to. When I do manga anime art style, I usually make similarities to my other manga work. My artwork can help me moving forward by encouraging me when I succeed in my sketch or try new things.
This piece is by Jorge S. Bravo and it's called Stems.
This piece is by Yesenia Vasquez and it is Untitled.
This piece is by Jillian Bach and it is Untitled.
This piece is by Anna Lambert and it is Untitled.
So this piece is by Liam Riley. It's called To Pimp a Caterpillar, and I'll be speaking about it a little bit. So this is one of the pieces that is also part of Liam's AP portfolio. He's been exploring the inspiration of music and how you can create visuals to accompany the sort of more sonic experience of music. I'm going to say a little bit from his artist statement just because I feel like I don't want to mess it up. He has some very clear thoughts about this. So he says, this drawing was based on American rapper, songwriter, and record producer Kendrick Lamar's 2015 album To Pimp a Butterfly. The album is packed with jazzy, dreamlike melodies and rhythms. I think you can really see that in the style of the piece as well. Sorry, that's my commentary. While it addresses our society's conflict. Lamar walks you through his grappling with the pressure of his newfound fame and attacks issues such as black on black crime with intense resentment and ferocity. And he, Liam goes on to talk about Lamar's metamorphosis after a trip to South Africa and just thinking about the effect of segregation in that place and also in general, and how that sort of brought about a new phase in his work. And I really love how Liam is thinking about another artist experience through his music and also translating it into this visual medium. It strikes me as deeply empathic, and I think that it's just something we can all really learn from, and obviously a beautiful piece as well.
This piece is by GRO and it is Untitled.
This piece is by Alexa Pantoja, and it is called Portrait of My Boyfriend.
This piece is by Miguel Vega and it is Untitled.
This piece is by Max Wessner, and it is called Last Rasp.
This piece is by Alana Perry and it is Untitled.
And this piece is by Ramon Romo Zuniga, and it is Untitled.
So we strongly urge you to come in and see these works in person and to read their statements. It really gives you an insight into what they're thinking, and it just feels like a really big privilege to have that level of intimacy with the person and how they've been making their art. We're very proud of this exhibition and really encourage you to come see it. And we also encourage you to make a donation to Gallery Route 1 in our outreach efforts. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we'd like to open up for a Q&A or comments, questions, whatever you would like. And if you look at the bottom of your viewing screen to the right, you see a little smiley face. If you click on that, you can choose raise your hand. And if you raise your hand, I can call on you to make a comment or ask a question. All right, it's pretty quiet out there. So I will thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you for coming. Don't forget, this exhibition is only up for 2 weeks. It closes on May 23rd. So please make sure you visit the gallery in person. Let me bring myself here so you can see me. Reminder that the gallery is open Thursday through Sunday, 11 to 5, and we are following the pandemic guidelines. So please wear your mask when you come. And like Tony said, if you were moved by today's presentation and you want to support the work that Gallery Route 1 does to bring art to the community, then please visit our website and make a donation today. And if you don't mind, make a note in the comments that your donation is because of the virtual reception for the Tomales High School Artist Showcase. And a big thank you to Jenny and Andrea for bringing the work to the gallery. And yes, there they are, Gina and Andrea. I mean, Jenny and Andrea. And thanks to Tony for being the exhibition lead, and thanks to Tim and Z for being our videographers today, and thanks to Gayanne for keeping the gallery quiet. And we look forward to seeing you at our next virtual reception, which will be on May 29th for our annual members exhibition. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.